Can anyone catch them, do you think?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, unbelievable. We didn't expect that.
Hello, everyone. So this is going to be the last episode for this calendar year, and it's a very special one, especially because this is a year where we kind of worked some new things into the podcast. We brought in the FPL one, and we did a lot of other things. So it's a very special year for us, and we have got Arun back with us. Hi, Arun.
Hello.
And Aravind back. Hi, Aravind.
Hello.
We are slowly pulling you to be a regular in our in our podcast. In our podcast. So today we will be doing especially the Manchester City game preview, which we are playing on the New Year's Day. The big news, Arun, right? That Arteta has gotten COVID
for the second time.
Second time, and also like at a very crucial period.
Coincidentally, the last time he got COVID was also right before a Man City game.
Oh, I didn't know that. I should.
Yeah, last time he got it was right before the City game. Yeah.
It's the interesting part of it, Arun, is that we don't know how much of the impact is going to be, right? It's not like, okay, Manchester City game, you'll miss it for sure, but will he be back for the next game or the next game or the next game? And there are also like talks that more backroom staff has been affected by COVID, so we don't know what kind of a preparation is going on for this game. And we don't know what is his name, the airport Albert.
Yeah. Albert Stevenberg.
Airport Albert.
Albert has been trending in Twitter. So with all this in mind, right, what would be the preparation? What would be the mindset going into this game?
I don't think preparation wise anything would change. They would just approach this as they would approach any other City game. Like, they would probably be feeling, they would probably be like, tweaking it a bit, keeping in mind that we're playing City at home and not away. So we have that definite advantage of playing at home. The crowd will play a huge role. So in terms of preparation, really, I do not think there would be any difference or any impact of Arteta not being there, because all the plays and the playbooks are already defined, so they would all be given there. Even during the game, there are never drastic changes made during the course of a game. If you've noticed, Arteta, like you would expect any normal manager to be, usually people take a bit of time for things to repeat or not work before you change anything. That's what Arteta does too. He does not like immediately reactive. He waits for a bit of time before making any changes. So in terms of making changes in the middle of the game, I do not think it's going to have that big of impact. But in terms of him as a person being there and pushing players, that's where the biggest impact is going to be. It's not in terms of what we are going to be doing, but in terms of how we are going to be doing it is where I believe that there's going to be a huge impact because of what he brings in as someone from the sidelines to the team. You see him
I'm pretty sure he's going to be in the airports Albert, and he'll be yelling from home.
Definitely, but I highly doubt if Albert would actually be able to translate the same energy that Arteta brings in. That
I don't know how keenly you've noticed. Albert Stevenberg is actually a bigger yeller than Arteta, in my opinion, because Arteta he's got his revered box that he stands in and walks around all the time. But Stevenberg does these laps between the dugout and the manager. Like I think he covers the next most distance to the midfield player in our team.
But Aravind, Arun was mentioning that it's not going to be a big impact in the sense we would have playbooks and stuff, right? But Arteta is known to have, I don't know if I could put it this way, but he's known to overthink these games against Manchester City or against big top four opponents like Chelsea, Liverpool. He is known to overthink tactics during this game. Taking that away, would it be a positive thing, or is it going to be taken away, or is it going to be like we do have drones now on our training pitch, and in we could have it live streamed to Arteta in his stuff, and is that going to, like, the overthinking part? That's what I want to know.
I think that's a misnomer. Overthinking, you set up tactically for the game, like the same game last season, where Sterling would head that only goal of the game.
Oh, last season both the games were 1-0 against.
Yeah, right. The 1-0 Sterling goal, the goal scored by Raheem Sterling in that 1-0 game. That game, if you notice, we had the central defenders, both of them had one job: man mark the false nine. Whoever was the false nine, just man mark, which would mean they would get dragged out of position. They would sometimes be close to the midfielder, but just man mark the shit out of them. So Arteta pretty much removed the link. What he failed to do was he created a false nine setup for us with Willian, and I don't think Willian really understood his role. There was one point where Auba played a through ball to Willian. Willian would be in the center. The nearest centre backs would be like in Spurs ground. That could have been, at that point, game was 0-0. Like, that was a situation where we could easily capitalized and made it count. We didn't. But I wouldn't call that overthinking, or I would call that a little more being strategic. Arteta, knowing Pep, he knows how Pep would think, what Pep would do, which is true the other way too. So it'll be an interesting game of chess. But without Arteta now, the poker game with Airport Albert begins. I think he was in the Wales setup before Arsenal. So
I was watching, like, when I was traveling on my vacation, I was watching the Leicester documentary, and I saw Albert in the dugout of Swansea, I guess.
Yeah, he's had like circuits around English football pretty much. But he's had exposure to managing football, and this will be like a good change of scenery. What we also have to take into account is whatever situation we have at Arsenal with players missing and coaches missing due to COVID, City have the same thing. Last game against Brentford, their bench was a bunch of nobodies. We are used to seeing City throw up like $150 million pound benches. Last game, it was barely 100 million bench.
That's a surprise for City. Yeah,
exactly. Yes. So from that standpoint, I think this is like the most opportune time we can get City. They did not make any subs last game, so everybody who played the full 90. They can probably swap 3 or 4 players from the team, but rest of them got a lot of mileage on the tracks.
Yeah, that's the other part of it, right? Like, so Arun, we know that we have put points on the board, right? Rest of the team have games, like United has game, Tottenham has games in hand. Those are games in hand, but we have already put points on the board. But this is the time where they should be thinking, okay, Arsenal are playing City, Arsenal are playing next would be Tottenham. So this is the time when they could fall. That's what the rivals would be thinking. And even as fans, what I'm torn between the idea of, right, like, we know that it's Manchester City, the best team in the league right now. We are playing them and we are not at their level. So should I be considering this as it's a customary write-off game, or should I be saying, like, well, we could try and do something about it?
We are coming off of a home stretch. I'm sorry, Arun, I know the question was for you, but we're coming off of a stretch where we have not conceded in 4 home games.
But that's again, right, Arvind, that is all right, but it is not against City. City are the best team in the league.
It doesn't matter who it has been against and who. It is all about the next game. That is what counts. I could be the Queen of England for all I care, but the next day is what matters. And all that matters is when the referee signals kickoff until the referee blows the final whistle. That 90 minutes is what matters.
From a player's perspective, yes, but from a fan's perspective, right? That was my
from
question.
A fan's perspective, I think this should be the fan's perspective. This is how I am looking at it. I think people would agree with me. A lot of people would agree with me when I say I don't even want to look at this game. The result of this game is not going to have any impact on the final goal of finishing fourth. If we can manage to beat the other teams that we're supposed to beat, even if we lose this one, that's how I see it. For me, if there is, if you've managed to finish in top four by beating City and losing to Norwich, no one's going to say you don't deserve that because you lost to Norwich. No one's going to say that. The same way, beating City or beating Liverpool doesn't guarantee anything for you. There are so many situations in which the team that has got the most points against the big six teams has failed to finish, has failed to win the league, has failed to finish in top four, has failed to finish runner-up. So this stat is like overstated. Are we a team fighting for the title right now? No. So then what is the point of like actually putting so much emphasis on this game and like acting as if everything is done if we manage to not get the result that we want to get? That's what I don't understand.
We might not be fighting for the title, but 2 and 3 are very much within reach. Have you seen?
No. I understand that. I understand what you mean. 2 and 3 come down when you are fighting for the title. Because if 2 or 3 teams fighting for the title, one is winning the title, the other 2 are going to be 2 and 3. That's what happens, right? With all due respect to what we are doing right now, we're definitely not at a stage where we could be fighting for the title. Yes, third or fourth spot. If we are lucky, we could possibly finish third. If we are really good, we'll finish fourth. And then if we are lucky beyond that point, we can finish third. That's how things are. It's not like whatever we do, we are going to be finishing in top in the second spot or something. Like just basically pitting the strengths of the squads that we have against the other teams going for those spots, it doesn't seem realistically possible that we'd be able to finish there. That's how I would see it. So in my head, if fourth is a possibility, then I would like the team to do everything that would take them to the fourth, which would mean that beating, like I was talking about it earlier, fighting against these teams from 10 to 20 and winning so comfortably was not a regularity even as early as last year. Mm-hmm. Now we are able to do this more regularly. If we can get all the points that we can get from here, that should be enough to get us to top four.
That's where I'm saying whatever happened until last year and the preceding 4 years was an aberration. What you're seeing right now is the norm.
Yes, that aberration. No, that's what I'm saying. That aberration has become a regularity.
Also, like, see that it's not an aberration if it is happening for 4 years.
Yeah, if it is happening for 4 years, it's not like, a blip. It was not like we were at a very high level and then we blipped down all of a sudden. You could see the thing happening.
You could make that argument that it's not an aberration if everything was under normal circumstances. There is
normal circumstances. It differs from one club to another. What is normal circumstances in football right now?
There is none. But what normal circumstance is somebody who's been in the position for 20 long years or longer, 22 long years, and then you suddenly stop that and start again. Look at what United are doing. That huge impact, that huge void that you're creating, you have to fill that. And along the way,
I think we both are saying the same thing.
Yes.
Even if it was last 4 or 5 years, it was something that had to be taken care of.
That's why I'm saying that is an aberration. I'm looking at the potential of where this team can be, what this team can do, and I'm convinced that the 10 to 20 clubs that the position clubs that you are beating handsomely, that is going to be much more of a regular occurrence.
No, yeah, I would be really happy. That's what I'm saying. We are right now able to do that right now with more confidence and with more regularity. That should be good enough to get you to where you want to be. Right. Like if you can win these games comfortably, if you really think about it, there are 10 to 20 games in total. 20 times 3 is 60. If the cities manage to get 55 to 59 points out of 60 out of these teams. You don't have to be a City, but if you can get 50 and upwards, that would be great for you. That leaves you to get only another 20 points from the remaining 60 points that you have to get.
Right. Yes.
That's not too difficult of a thing to do. So for me, like, forget about City. I am really not. In this situation, I would discount City. I would not like. It wouldn't mean anything to me if we lose this game. I wouldn't see this as like the process is stopping or like the confidence is going to go down. No, but I would want my team to go and put up a fight. So with that respect, I do not know if like it's really like, the impact of this, whether we put up a fight or not, is not going to affect the team. I wouldn't want it to affect the team with what we do. That's what I would say.
Actually, I know that we shouldn't be talking this way, and I know that this stat is not going to make any sense. Like we know the stat of like this calendar year we are having so many points and everything, right? But this calendar year, the average points per game for Arsenal is 2, which would put us, if it is stretched across a season, that's going to put us somewhere around like 70 points, which would get us with top 4, right?
Easily.
That is what I'm thinking. But again, this is all with the caveat that we don't play in a calendar year, we play in a season.
No, even in that case, Vijay, the thing is, like, if you really think about it, like Arvind said, Chelsea have started faltering, but though given the quality of their squad, I wouldn't discount them too much. They have the ability to come back. Definitely, they have the squad quality. They have
They're
that.
a dumpster fire right now. Lukaku just came out and gave.
I know that, but Lukaku has not been playing. He's really not had an impact this season. So even if he's not there, I do not know if this is going to create too much of an impact. And Chelsea are a team that have always thrived on chaos. Like out of these 20 years since they got the money from Abramovich, can you really think of a situation where they were real dire straits, like how Arsenal were? That one season where they finished 10th, that was the only season that I can really think of. They're not dependent on managers. They're not dependent on external factors. They keep churning over and over again. They're not worried about losses they make. So that's that's why I would never discount them. So they also have a possibility of coming in. If you leave those 3 teams out, the other 3 or 4 teams that are fighting for the fourth spot are not so very well equipped to go on and get 70 points. I do not see all the 4 teams going there. And that's where I feel like it's not going to be really a 70-pointer to get to the 4th spot. It's going to be 65 to 70. That's what I can think. And these other 4 teams, like they're definitely, some of them would fall by the wayside. So there is the possibility of getting 65 to 70 points is not difficult, given how well the team has been playing so far. Had we thought about this at the beginning of the season, I don't think people have had the confidence to get 65 or 70. But now that we're seeing something in place, it gives more confidence for us to be able to.
But again, all this confidence is like, I get your point about not caring about the points against City. But again, so performance against City should count.
Yeah, I would definitely like them to.
We cannot go and have like a 5-0.
It could. I really don't know. I mean, I do not know if the scoreline would make a thing. That's where I say, for me, I do not really want to attach so much of importance to this game. Yes, I would want my team to fight well, but if they are not able to fight at this point, I would accept that as a superiority of the City team, which it's not. I'm not accepting defeat, but I'm just accepting, we keep talking about City being able to field 2 teams. 2 separate 11s, and if they do field 2 separate 11s, both of them would finish in the top 4. We know the quality. That is the superiority of the team, and that's what I'm accepting. I would want my team to fight, but if they're not able to, that just shows the superiority of that team. Whereas if it was Liverpool, it's different. Liverpool do not have the same quality man-to-man that City possess, but they play a way of football that with their 11 that they can do. I would like to give my team more of a chance against Liverpool than against City, just because of the technical superiority.
So on that topic, Arvind, right, especially with the starting lineup, right, we know you mentioned that City has went through this last game with no substitutions, right, and they don't have Rodri in, if I remember, he's out. So yes. The midfield is going to be Fernandinho again, who's 36 years old and who has been playing for 3 games in the span of 6 days or something.
Yeah.
So it's going to be an interesting selection for City and also for us, because we don't have any right backs. So we could again go for Ben White, or we could put Nuno Tavares in there.
No.
So and the other question is, right, I mean, these are just the points that we have to make. The other question is, we know that Emil Smith-Rowe has been doing really good, and is it a game for Smith-Rowe to come in? And if he comes in, whose place does he come in? Does he come in for Martinelli, or does he come in for Lacazette?
So first, Smith-Rowe should start from the bench. He's been our spark plug off the bench. I wouldn't want to change that. If he comes, he can change the game. He can just turn it around. And more importantly, the front 4 right now are working. So I wouldn't change that either. We've had rest since the last game we have played. It's not like we're burnt out and the next player needs to come up. So we need to rotate. That's not the case. And what ESR brings off the bench, that is a really, really, really good value add that we're having at the moment. And I wouldn't want to lose that spot. And having said that, the first question, I'd still go with Ben White at right back. We'd probably go to a back three when we are defending, or a back five when we're defending. So it'll likely be that Ben White will be right centre back and Saka will fall back, or Partey will occupy the mid space. So from that standpoint, I don't really worry about Ben White, but I don't think Nuno is going to start against City.
Arun, in that case, right? Like I have a concern in Martinelli right there, because their fullbacks are a handful, right? They are not on overlapping fullbacks. They are not going to be overlapping, and Martinelli likes to cut in, so he's going to run into. I don't know if Walker is fit, even if he's not.
He's fit.
Yeah. So
he is.
Yeah, I saw somewhere that he's fit. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, even if he is not, Cancelo or Zinchenko, whoever plays on that side is going to be more than capable of handling Martinelli. And Martinelli, for me, although he has the pace, he has the finishing, he's not technically strong enough to handle that. That's why I'm thinking like Smith Rowe could come in.
He's one of the best dribblers in our team.
Yeah, he's improved. Technically, I understand what you mean when you say technically, but all the aspects that we thought were his deficiencies as even like 6 months ago, he's improved a lot on those fronts. He's not like jumping into tackles. He's not like running directly at players as much anymore. He's able to get the ball out of tight spaces, and he's probably. I know Smith Rowe has been getting goals with each shot that he's taking, but Martinelli is a better finisher than Smith Rowe, definitely. So given that we are playing City and each chance counts, I would definitely like to start with Martinelli. I do not know if we are going to go, since it's home, if you're going to like directly go bung-ho from the start, or if you're going to weather the storm a bit and then start attacking. Either way, each chance that we get has to, count, has to be made valuable. And I think given that, I really believe that Martinelli has a better chance of accomplishing that than ESR can. ESR creates more chaos in the second half when he came. The spark that he provides, he acts like more like Arvind said. He's not a defined 10. He doesn't play as a defined winger either. So that creates a bit of chaos in the opposition ranks, and that's more valuable in the second half right now, given the kind of opposition that we play. And I do not think Martinelli has done much wrong to actually take him out of the team. So even if Smith Rowe has been scoring, I think Martinelli is a better finisher and he should start.
So I wanted to talk about the tactics from the City game, and I was looking at the Leicester game, and that's where I was thinking okay, because Brentford game, it was a little bit different to what usually City does. So in the Leicester game, especially in the first goal that City scores, you can see their pattern of play, right? Which is that Fernandinho is the person who's sitting at the base of the midfield. We all know that, and he doesn't move a lot. That is one thing that has to notice, is he doesn't move a lot. So Fernandinho starts the attack, he puts in a ball, and then the finish is from De Bruyne, which is a great finish, the first goal in itself. But the point to note is, at that point in time, not just that time, even Brentford goal, and even every goal, City, what they do is they are flooding the box with 5 players. They always have, when the ball enters the final third, the box has 5 players in the box. That is what City does. So we know our deficiencies in the defense, right? We know what our defense is, and especially with Tomiyasu not there, how are we going to handle this flooding of 5 players into the box?
Arvind, you're on mute.
With Tommy not there, I think it actually helps us in a way, because we know this game is going to be 60-40, 65-35 in terms of possession against us. So, which means for the 65% of the game, 2/3 of the game, we are going to be defending. And from that standpoint, having a Ben White is actually better than having a Tomiyasu, in my opinion. Which sort of works in our favor. And to that particular goal against Leicester, the first goal, and which is very similar to the Brentford, the only goal in that game too. They have a different varieties of bringing the ball into the box. They play it over the defenders, or they try to break the low block and then try to go through the defenders. And when one guy has the ball, three other guys are starting to make runs. You really don't know where the ball is going to go. And somehow the ball finds a third guy, and before even you know it, he's automatically free because you've been chasing shadows all this while. I think that's where we have to be a little more clever and skillful in the way we defend. Uh, Leeds tried to man mark City, did not work. But if it had worked, then that would have been an absolute masterclass. What we saw was City have the quality to, even when being man marked, to receive the ball, get out of the tight space, and play the ball to the next person. That's why the score line read 7-0. Brentford did, on the other hand, they defended in zones and they man marked very few. They man marked Kevin De Bruyne a lot and Bernardo Silva a lot, but apart from that, everybody else were pretty zonal. So from that standpoint, I think that is pretty much key from what we're going to be doing as well. Previously, we tried to man mark the false nine. Right now, we have to man mark the creative outlet, which is going to be KDB and Bernardo, and hope and pray that Phil Foden or Raheem Sterling or Riyad Mahrez don't end up with the ball free with nobody else near them.
That's Sterling, yeah.
Pray and hope is a very good way to put it. So Arun, like, that is from City's attack point of view, right? Like, from our attack point of view, the biggest concern for me is Lacazette, right?
Really?
Although he plays very well, and I'm not taking anything away from him, but they know what our play is going to be. They are not going to try and force Lacazette into doing something else. They know that the ball, if it goes through Lacazette, it's going to be about stopping the runners, stopping Saka making the run, or stopping Martinelli making the run. That is what they are going to focus on. And Laka not having his shooting boots is what I'm worried about, because that means the second ball is going to fall for him, but he's not going to take the shot.
I mean, I know this question is around again, but Laka has a pretty good record against the big top six.
Yeah.
So even with,
I think this is like a tailor-made game for him. Like, he doesn't.
Right.
His main job is to like get the runners. Like, but I do not think that it's going to be that easy of a task for City if we do get the ball and if we put our runners through to be able to stop them. I don't think it's going to be that easy for City. Like, if that is the case, then we'll be completely outplayed in the game. But Lacazette, I think, like, he's best suited for this sort of a game. There's not too much demands from him in terms of like. I know you're talking about finishing, but the 1 or 2 chances that we would get probably will fall to the wingers. So it's not going to be too Lacazette. So his job is to just involve the other people around him, mainly like the 2 wingers, and create space for Odegaard. If Odegaard is able to get some space with the things that he could possibly do, we can get a goal. But like, I wouldn't really depend on Lacazette to finish, or any other striker for that matter, given how we are playing right now, to finish, in this sort of a game with the team that we have right now.
Okay. I mean, for me, the question was coming from a point where we might get, like Aravind was mentioning, we would have very little of possessions. So the chances would be so limited that I want everyone to be on their best shooting boots. And
I know what you mean. Like, receiving the second ball, I do not think he'll have enough time or space to be able to receive the second ball. So I do not know if we'll actually be going through that format. So whatever balls we get would involve like the other 3 around him, with not him like having the task of finishing. I don't think that would be the case in this game. City are definitely going to close down space. They're not going to give you any space or time to run in behind their defenders.
Okay, so I'm holding on to you for a moment for like quick, who's going to be the danger person from City and from Arsenal?
Oh my God, from City, it's all 11 of them. I cannot really think of one single person. Each one of them can like hurt you in different ways. So The weakest link right now, given whatever has happened, is probably Fernandinho. But apart from them, I can see every other 10 players like hurting us in some way or the other. So no, I really don't know. I'll say all 10 of them. Now that I'm saying Fernandinho is not going to be danger man, he's going to score a goal and win the game for him.
For Arsenal.
If there's one person who's shooting, I'm very hopeful of that won't find the back of the net more than Lacazette. It's Fernandinho.
With that luck, you would never be sure.
That's fair.
So Arun, from Arsenal.
From Arsenal, it's going to be Martinelli and Saka.
Yeah,
there's going to be a lot of pressure on those two because it's known that they're the ones getting the goals and they'll have to score the goals. So for me, those two are the most important people.
Arvind, your take on Danger Man.
Danger Man, KDB and Bernardo. I think this is one of those very few games where I'm really not concerned about the opponent goalkeeper because I'm pretty sure even if he goes and buys himself a beer somewhere in London, nobody's going to miss him. But from our team, I want to say the wingers would be key, but I think Thomas Partey is going to be the most important.
That's true. Yeah, that's very true
for us.
That's interesting. I was looking at Ramsdale to be the person from our team.
Ramsdale is going to be busy, and believe me, he's going to make some really excellent saves. But Leno made 7 saves against City when they beat us 5-0. That's just law of averages.
And that's the thing, he's going to have a lot of work to do, but it's not. I do not know, if it is going to be a situation where, he is going to define the outcome of the game.
True.
So let's do the prediction, and because it's New Year's, I hope we could get some positive predictions first. Aravind, positive prediction from you.
2-0 Arsenal.
2-0 to Arsenal. There you go. Arun, your prediction for the game.
I would say 0-2. We'll be losing 0-2. Yeah.
0-2. That is kind of expected.
They haven't scored against City in 5 or 6 games.
Yeah.
I think that's about to change.
It would be good if it does. Yeah.
I'm going for a loss too. I'm going for a 1 goal for us and 2 goals for them. So 1-2 to City.
Should have finished with Aravind. They should always finish with
But it's been nice talking to you guys. Happy New Year to every one of you, and for the viewers, to like, share, and subscribe and comment so that the YouTube gods would pick our video ahead of everyone else, and there's more people that we could reach out to. And thank you so much for the year, and thank you guys for joining in. Bye.
Come on, you Gooners.